Welcome to Horror Stories. On this channel, I am Ankur Pandit, share with you paranormal incidents and activities. These are real events experienced by our loved ones. This story I am about to share comes from the real experience of people just like you who have faced significant challenges and wish to share their stories to help others avoid similar pitfalls. Learning from these real incidents can be incredibly helpful as they highlight mistakes that led to major losses and how to avoid them. Today's real incident takes us back to 1995, a time when Shiva was not even born. This story passed down by his father, grandfather, and great grandfather unfolded in Odisha. Before diving into the details, let's address a significant question. What do you know about Odisha? Odisha, a region frequently demolished by natural disasters, faces cyclones that bring unimaginable devastation every 10 to 20 years. Much like how the COVID pandemic hit India in 2019 and 20, Odisha suffers from catastrophic cyclones that leave destruction in their wake. For instance, the 1999 cyclone claimed the lives of around 10,000 people. The resilience of the people living by the sea in Odisha is commendable as they continuously find ways to protect themselves from such calamities. Today's real incident is connected to this recurring devastation. The cyclone of 1999 was just one of many that has struck Odisha, leaving countless bodies without proper last ride, their souls perhaps wandering relentlessly. Shiva shared a story from 1995 when his father was merely 14 or 15-year-old. To provide some context, Shiva's family is a lineage of Brahmins Odisha, deeply devoted to worship and rituals. For generations, they have been known for their unwavering faith and commitment to conducting religious ceremonies and worship on request in various places. In 1985, the region was hit by one of those cyclones. Shiva's father, being a teenager, witnessed and harrowing aftermath of the disaster. The cyclones would often wash away bodies, and without proper rituals, these souls were believed to wander. This particular incident, shared by Shiva, involves the eerie experience of his family during the time, deeply rooted to their spiritual practices and described their witness. Imagine the chilling atmosphere as young Shiva's father, along with his elders, navigated through the storm's aftermath. The wind hollowed like brass, and the sea soared angrily. And as if mourning the loss of thousands, the air was thick with the scent of salt and decay, and the land was littered with the remains of homes and lives torn apart. In the midst of this chaos, the family's faith remained their weakness. They were often called upon to perform rituals and offer prayers for the souls of the deceased, a task that brought them face to face with the remains of the storm's world. Shiva's father, though young, learned the importance of these rituals, understanding that they were not just about the living but also about giving the peace to depart. One night, they performed a ceremony by the sea. The waves seemed to whisper secrets of the past. The air grew colder, and as uneasy silence fell over the gathering, it was as if the spirit were present, acknowledging the prayers being offered. Shiva's father recalled how the flames of their ritual's fire flickered violently, casting eerie shadows that danced like phantoms. Through this story, Shiva not only shared a piece of his family's history but also highlighted the unyielding spirit of Odisha's people. Despite the constant threat of nature's fury, they continue to live, to fight, and to honor their dead with unwavering faith and resilience. This tale serves as a reminder of the strength of human spirit in the face of relentless adversity and the importance of rituals and traditions in providing solace amidst chaos. Shiva, known to many as Thakwa, shared an extraordinary tale from 1985. This story, passed down from his great grandfather, paints a vivid picture of devotion, duty, and the relentless forces of nature. In 1985, Shiva's grandfather, lovingly called the Thakwa by the family, was a devout Brahmin who dedicated his life to performing rituals and prayers. This tradition has been passed down through generations, with each family member taking up the mantle to serve the community through his spiritual practices. Thakwa was revered for conducting grand ceremonies, yagyas, and havans. However, as time changes, so did the need of the family. Shiva's grandfather, feeling the financial strain on relying solely on the religious duties, decided to seek a stable job to support the growing family. This decision weighed heavily on Thakwa, who worried about the future of their spiritual legacy. One day, after much deliberation, Thakwa called a family meeting. With a heavy heart, has agreed to let his son seek employment, but insisted that the family's spiritual duties must continue. Shiva's grandfather applied for and secured a clerk position at a local school, which provided some financial relief. Despite these changes, Thakwa continued the rituals and teachings. He passed down his knowledge to Shiva's father and his siblings, emphasizing the importance of their spiritual heritage. During this time, Odisha was often beset by the natural disaster, with cyclones and floods being constant threats. In one of such incidents, the heavens unleashed a torrential downpour, causing this widespread showers was so fierce that it seems as if the sky itself was falling. Streets turned into the rivers, and one sturdy bridge crumbled under the unstoppable force of the water. Amid this chaos, there was an old beggar in the village who had no one to care for him. The floodwaters swept him away, battering his body against trees and poles until he was left broken and lifeless. The villagers witnessed the horrifying sight of the beggar's body, a stark reminder of nature's unforgiving power. Despite the calamity, Thakwa remained steadfast in his duties. He was soon called upon to perform the rituals in a village across the river, a journey fraught with danger due to the flood. Determined to fulfill his responsibilities, Thakwa set out, navigating dangerous water and demolished landscape. The story of Thakwa's unwavering commitment serves as a testament of the resilience and devotion of Shiva's family. It highlights the struggle between maintaining tradition and adapting to changing times, all while facing the unpredictable fury of nature. Through this tale, we are reminded of the strength and perseverance required to uphold one's duties in the face of overwhelming adversity. One faithful day, Thakwa decided he and the Shiva's father would travel to neighboring village to perform a ritual. They planned to leave early and return home nightfall, but fate had other plans. Setting out in their boat, they crossed the river smoothly and received a warm welcome in the village. In those days, people did not pay with money but with food and other valuable items like tea, sweets, jaggery, and pita, delicious treats that are rare today. Knowing the journey back might attract unwanted attention, the Thakwa instructed Shiva's father to sprinkle sandalwood powder and place holy basil leaves over their offerings to ward off any entities. Unfortunately, in the hassle and bustle, Shiva's father forgot this crucial step. As they prepared to return, the boatmen ferried them back to the river bank. They departed and began the 2 kilometer trek home, passing through a dense forest. It was there they stumbled upon the gruesome sight of the beggar's body, left broken and abandoned after the recent flood in Odisha. During such calamities, unclean bodies were often thrown into the water, left to the mercy of the elements. Continuously their, Continuing their journey, Shiva's father carried the basket of sweets on his head, while Thakwa followed with an orange lantern in hand, guiding their way. As they walked, an eerie presence began to follow them. Shiva's father focused on the path ahead, did not notice at first, but Thakwa did. He saw the shadowy figure trailing behind him, matching their pace, never closing the distance due to the protective thread the journey they wore. Thakwa had pounded as he realized the sandalwood and basin meant to protect them had begun forgotten. The entity, likely drawn by the scent of the sweets, continued to follow. Thakwa whispered to Shiva's father, bring him to recite the Gayatri Mantra and Hanuman Chalisa repeatedly. With each step, the presence seemed to grow stronger. Thakwa tightened his grip on the staff he used to feel his way, his mind racing through the verse of the prayer. The forest around them seemed to close in, the shadows growing longer, and the sound of the night amplified their fear. As they neared the edge of the forest, the lantern's flickers light cast long, dancing shadows. The entity, still following a distance, agitated as they approached the village boundary. Thakwa prayer intensified, his voice steady despite the fear crawling at his heart. Finally, they reached the home, but the safety of their village was their prime priority. The entity halted, unable to cross the threshold, exhausted but relieved. Thakwa and Shiva's father quickly made their way home, the protective light of their lantern now beacon of safety. This chilling experience left an indelible mark on Shiva's family. Thakwa's wisdom and faith has guided them through a night of terror, reinforcing the importance of their spiritual heritage. The story serves as a reminder of the unseen forces that lurk in the world and the power of devotion and prayer to protect the guide us through even the darkest of time. As Thakwas and Satyam's father continued their journey, they reached a crucial juncture where two dams lay ahead. One was a large dam, sturdy enough to trucks to cross, while the other one was a narrow path, barely wide enough to two bicycles. Without a second thought, they chose the large dam. As they walked along the large dam, they glanced at their left and witnessed something extraordinary. An entity began morphing into different animals, first a lion, then a boar, followed by a dog, and finally a cat. They both realized This was no ordinary sight. Thakwa immediately understood that Satyam's father had forgotten to sprinkle sandalwood and place holy basil leaves over the sweets, as he had instructed. Thakwa tried to remain composed, assuming Satyam's father was unaware of the entity. However, Satyam's father had seen it too, and fear gripped him. He clutched his sacred thread tightly, chanting the Gayatri Mantra Hanuman Chalisa under his breath for protection. They finally reached the outskirts of their home, but the entity followed them, casting a shadow at their door. Thakwa stopped, staring intently at the sinister figure. It was as if he was silently questioning it. What did it want? Food? Their lives? Or something else? Satyam's father, seeking his great grandfather standing still, placed a hand on his shoulder and asked, "What's wrong? Why are not we moving?" Thakwa, suddenly furious, snapped, "I told you to put sandalwood and basil on the sweets. Didn't I? Look what followed us. What should I do now? Should I send you to your death or die myself?" Satyam's father tried to calm him, suggested, "Let's discuss this inside." But Thakwa was adamant. "We cannot go inside with this thing following us. It will bring a disaster upon the entire household. Here, what you need to do: go inside and fetch your mother. Don't tell your father anything, or there will be a serious consequences. Do you understand?" Satyam's father nodded and quickly went inside, returning with his mother, Satyam's grandmother. She looked concerned and asked, "What happened?" Thakwa explained the dire situation. Realizing the gravity of their mistake, Thakwa and Satyam's father rushed into their home. Thakwa instructed Satyam's father to fetch a few essential items, a pot filled with camphor, an oil lamp, and some holy basil leaves from their altar. As Satyam's father scrambled to gather these items, Thakwa sprinkled the sandalwood over the sweets and placed the holy basil leaves on top, muttering prayers under his breath. They hurriedly made their way back inside, knowing they needed to protect their home from whatever was following them. The night dragged on. It was 2 a.m. by the time the Thakwa finally managed to fall asleep through uneasily. The rest of the family, obviously to the supernatural threat, slept soundly, but Thakwa could not shake the feeling that something powerful was lurking outside, drawn to their home by their sacred practices. At 4 a.m. during the Brahmotra, Thakwa woke up and stepped outside. When he saw, sent chills down his spine. The sweets previously untouched were now gone, and the pot broke strange marks as if corded by acid. This was no ordinary creature, it was a powerful entity capable of causing serious harm. Determined to protect his family, Thakwa decided to undertake an intense 12-day prayer ritual. They visited numerous temples, performed rituals and yajnas, and sought blessings from various deities, including Mahakala and Adishakti. The family stayed away from home during this period, hoping to cleanse themselves and their surroundings to malevolent presence. When they returned home after the ritual, they thought the dangers had passed. However, they soon discovered the true extent of what had been happening while they were away. Every night, strange noises were heard outside their home, knocks on the door, eerie voices demanding food and threatening to harm. The children in the house had to sleep with cotton in their ears to keep them from walking and opening the doors. Satyam's grandmother, sharing her own terrifying encounter, revealed how one night while fetching water, she saw two glowing eyes staring at her from the darkness. A sudden gust of wind extinguished her lantern, and something rushed past her with alarming speed. She had been petrified but remembered Thakwa's advice to recite the Gayatri Mantra and the Hanuman Chalisa, which she did all the way back to home. The family was shaken. Thakwa explained that in Odisha, spirits and supernatural entities like Challa, Dagni, Yagni, Brahmarakshas, and the ghost were prevailed, likely because of the numerous, unlimitedly, and unceremoniously deaths. Many bodies were left without proper last rites, leading to restless spirits. Thakwa further explained that in Odisha, after performing last rite, families could not enter temples for a year. They believed that while deities reside in temples like Jagannath Puri, home altars were mostly symbolic. Regular visits to actual temples were crucial, a practice modern generation often neglect. Through their intense rituals and prayers, the family eventually found some peace. But they knew if they had not acted in time, the entity could have posed a severe threat to their lives. This experience left them with a profound respect for the power of their tradition and the unseen forces around them. Finally, before leaving, I request you all, please support my channel, subscribe horror stories, and turn on the bell notification so you get the latest video updates first. Stay tuned to the channel until the next video. Thank you all.